You can go have some drinks. You feel good for a while. The alcohol wears off. You don't feel so good. Maybe you have a hangover the next day, right? And so it would be ridiculous to think that if you just had more beer, that you could be happy for the rest of your life. We call that alcoholism. And it's kind of a one-way door to hell, right? So we know better. But that's exactly how we treat money and love and family and possessions. We think, oh, if I could just have this thing, a better job, more money, be dating this person, be married to that person, have more kids or less kids, or be in the country or the city, or own my home, or have X dollars in the bank, or whatever it is. Again, nothing wrong with any of that, except the desire for it is making you miserable and it doesn't work. And it's interesting to me that alcohol in our modern world, as one example among many, right? You could insert sex, drugs, gambling, love, family, possession, success, any of that stuff could substitute here. Most of us realize that getting more beer is not a formula for permanent success. Why? We know that it just leads to addiction. It will destroy your life, not improve it. But in the ancient world, before there was such an abundance of material goods, alcohol was much harder to come by. And they would have festivals, and maybe 3 days a year or whatever, the king or the lord or your local ruler would provide a festival for the people, and you could eat and drink as much as you wanted. And it felt great, right? When you're generally not getting enough to eat and life is hard, eating your fill is amazing. Drinking some wine or beer feels amazing. And people would think, wow, if I could just have festivals all the time, I'd be happy all the time. We know better, right? It would lead to addiction. It would ruin your life, not improve it. The only reason they thought that was there wasn't enough abundance for everyone to have all the beer and food they wanted. But now in the modern world, most of us have that. Most of us have as much food as we care to eat. Most of us, not everyone, most of us can afford to buy as much beer as we want to drink, but it won't make you happy. And the only reason we think money and love and these other things will make us happy is there's a scarcity of it. Does that make sense? And if you really did have all the money you wanted all the time, you would realize it doesn't make you happy forever. It leads to a money addiction. It will ruin your life. So here's the way I would put it. Psychological inflation is like taking a loan. And so there's nothing inherently bad about that, right? If you really need money to buy a home, to pay for education, to pay for medical treatment, whatever it is, maybe you go to the bank and get a loan. But realize it's not free money. You're going to pay it back with interest.